I have knitted you in your mother's womb. I have knitted you in your mother's womb. Guess who said? Guess who said that, bro? Guess who said that? Listen, bro. Listen, bro. God said that. Listen, bro. I have knitted you in your mother's womb. Listen, bro. Like, what happens if you would have died in that womb? Don't scroll now. What happens if you would have died in that womb? Of course, your parents will be crying. Parents will be crying. They will be crying. Literally, bro. If you would have died in that womb, your parents will be crying. Literally. They be doing everything under the sun. They be crying. Literally, bro. They would have been crying back then. Literally. Crying over the fact that they lost a child that they were. They lost a child that they were. That was grown. Literally, bro. That God was knitting inside of your mother's womb. Literally. They would have been crying over the fact that the God that was creating you inside your mother's womb was gone. Literally, they would have been crying over that. But they would have been heavily crying over that. It would have been mourning. Literally, bro. I'm telling you, like, bro. Listen, they would have been crying, bro. They would have been mourning. Literally, bro. They would have been mourning the loss of their daughter or son. Literally, bro. Literally, bro. They would have been mourning the loss of it. Literally, bro. Probably more than likely they would have had a whole funeral. Literally, bro. Like, come on. Literally, you were created by God. Literally, bro. But literally, bro, just imagine you dying in your mother's womb. Literally, not even be able, like, literally, bro, dying in your mother's womb and then not having the life that you have, literally, bro. But what if instead of crying when you died in your mother's womb, your parents were laughing? What if instead of dying, and don't scroll, what if instead of dying, what if instead of mourning the loss of their son or daughter, and let's imagine you died in your mother's womb, and instead of your mother and father mourning the loss of you, what if they, well, just imagine that you die in your mother's womb, and instead of your parents mourning over your loss, they just start laughing. They start laughing as hard as they laugh as hard as they can. It was the best joke of their life. Literally, bro. Just imagine they just start laughing. Literally, bro. And then relief starts washing down over their face, washing down over their whole bodies because you died in the womb. Literally, bro. You know what I'm talking about now. Hey, there's adoption centers out there. Stop the abortion. Alright? It goes against God.